Yeah, it's been really good. I've had a really healthy off season, something quite unusual because in the last few years I always had a little injury here and there. So that was nice because I gave myself the time to recover and get better. I started quite early, so I made it into two parts of it. I started slow, took a little bit of a break, then geared up again and with a bit more intensity, and here we are. No, I'm feeling really good. I think as a team, we structured it really good. I knew from the moment I withdrew from the Open that I was going to give myself the right amount of time that I needed, whether that was a week, whether that was a month, whether that was a few months. I didn't know, and nobody really knew. I've played with an injured shoulder for a while, so it was really important for me to take that time. Before the exhibition, I maybe played one or two practice matches, just to make sure that I was just ready to go out. And, Colombia was a bit challenging with the altitude. Couldn't make much of a match out of it, unfortunately. But it was a unique, opportunity for me just to be out there again. It's been a few months, so that was nice. I felt it's a bit faster from the first day. I don't know if that will be the same in Melbourne. We don't know, but I think it's a bit faster than last year. Yeah, there's certainly when you're doing it for so many years of your life, there are moments where you feel like you need to pick me up. But um, I didn't play for a few months, and that was a reason for me to get back out there because you know, I know that when I'm healthy, I know how I can play and what I'm capable of doing, and I needed to get healthy, so that was a motivation on its own. Yeah, I've formed I have a few new team members in the team. Obviously, new coach was Sven. From the first time we met, I really liked what he had to say. He came in as a very um, experienced, player. He started from the very beginning in the game, and um, one of the things I've always liked in a coach is when he coached against me, and he's been there for many years coaching against me. And I like when someone comes in and is honest and truthful and says it like it is, and he's that. He puts it out all on the table. He's a team player. He works with everyone on my team. Something that I was missing for a little bit of time. I have a new physio this year. Jerome, who's been great, who's also had a lot of experience with the French Federation, Emily Mauresmo, and other than that, I think it's the same. Well, in tennis, time goes really fast. It seems like I was sitting at this table just a year ago, in different circumstances, thankfully. But you really have to make the right decisions in order. You have to realize that the decisions you make, you have to make them in order selfishly in this business to be better, to know what's right for you, because time goes really fast, and you don't want to lose your opportunities. I'm happy with the structure I have now. I've spent a good few months with everyone on the team, and and obviously in the beginning it's going to be a challenge because I haven't played many matches. I want to bring the work that I've done in the off season. I want to try to bring that onto the court as soon as I can. Will that happen this week? I don't know. Will that happen next week? But I know that if I have the effort that I've had in the off season, then I'll be at the level where I want to be. Of course, you have higher expectations because you know what you're capable of and what you've achieved in your career, but you've got to try to minimize that just because of the fact that you haven't been out there in a long time. Yeah, it's just a few things, and yeah, having a lot of experience, you kind of know, and what you needed as maybe a 17 or 18-year-old is different to what you need as a 26-year-old, and with time you realize what is the best direction for you, and everything, and coaching and life and perspective and things. I think we all grow in different areas, and we learn a lot about ourselves and our games, and I certainly know what I feel I need at this point in my career, and I think that the new team can really help me with that. Um, I think it's not someone that's always going to come in and change something drastically. I've always thought that a different person can come in and give you similar words to what the previous person says, but for some reason it just clicks differently in your mind, and you go out and you execute differently than before. And you have to realize that when that stalls, and you have to kind of, get that going again, get that engine going, because if you just stop and you feel like you're at a standstill, I got everything I could out of Thomas. He came in at the very right time in my career. He got me going. He got me motivated. But I'm excited at the things that Sven can bring to the table as well.
Whenever you can choose a moment to basically even if you're recovering from an injury, do you tweak your schedule or
I've never really had a full schedule in my career. I think I've been smart about the tournaments that I've chosen to play just because of my body and the shoulder specifically. I don't think it'll be any different than previous years. Well, hopefully it will be, because I'll play here. But that's the biggest difference.
Where you talked about this a little bit with Chris Clary 2 weeks ago, but doing regular traveling together to tournaments, is it more comfortable being with a tennis person? Do you guys actually talk about tennis, or are you just going to do your thing and then leave off the court because you don't want to be talking about your career 24/7?
Of course, we share a lot of the same things, just because we have an elephant in the room that's called tennis. But there's so many other things to life that are besides tennis, and there are a lot more things to discuss than forehands and backhands and strings and rackets, which we share similar ideas and things of, and yeah, that's been really nice.
Sort of in a mentor role, you're a little bit more of a veteran player.
A mentor role?
Well, I'm not talking about for
For who? He's not gonna like that question. I mean, maybe I've been on the tour for longer, but he's played the sport for a very long time, since he was a little kid. So he knows what to do probably better than I do. I think part of how you grow up and the experience that you had in your childhood certainly develop maybe your mentality and the way you think, and the way you observe life, and the position where you are today. I'll always know where I came from and where I started, and how I came to this position. It's a very fortunate story, and maybe some people that do the same thing don't get the same results, and that's why it's always tough to see. And I consider myself very lucky that I am in this position today, and that's why I don't take anything for granted, especially since I had shoulder surgery. I appreciate everything that I get, and sometimes it's extremely difficult to look at it that way, but you have to in order, to keep going. Well, last year I didn't play, and I went and saw the koalas, so hopefully this year I will play, and I won't see the koalas. That's my goal. It's my first real press conference in a really long time, so...